Okay, as you can see, I am here. Let me move over. I'm coming to you from my kitchen because this is where I'm spending so much time these days. Cooking and cleaning and then cooking some more. So I thought I would come to you from my imaginary kitchen. I thought that would be fun. So yes, hi, I hope you guys are all having a great day today. I'm so excited about this. This is going to be the first time that, well, I shouldn't say first time. I did a video on how to use the Seesaw Slider die set. But this is going to be live, and you're going to see me make mistakes because that's what I do. So the big question for tonight is, what are we going to mess up tonight? Before we get to that, let me give you guys a little reminder. We are live on the Facebook group. We're also live on the YouTube channel. So you can leave comments on both of those. You can ask me whatever you want. I will do my best to answer questions. We do. Anna, will you turn it down? Thank you. I do a giveaway with every show that we do, with every live that we do. And I choose the giveaway from the YouTube comments and from the Facebook group comments. But I can't choose you if you don't leave a comment because I don't know that you're there. So make sure you leave a comment, and then I'm just going to kind of choose a number randomly, and we're going to pick a name from there, and you're going to get some fun things that I'm going to be working with tonight. So I'm going to switch my camera, and you're going to have to forgive me. I'm still working out this whole green screen thing. So I'm going to switch my camera so that I can show you what we're going to be working with. Give me just a quick second. There we go. So this is the Seesaw Slider die set. Kind of hard to tell exactly what you're going to do. And yes, this is my sample. I always write sample or LDRS on my the ones that I work with so that I know if it is if it's been used, if it's already been opened. So anyway, on the back of this you can see what the dies look like. This is a 7 die set. We kind of show it in color so you can get kind of a 3D effect. It's kind of fun. But this is a 7 die set. And let me show you what this does, first of all. This is a sample that's a very, very well-loved sample. But this is one that if you pull on this tab right here, you'll see how those little bunnies go up and down. If I could pull, there we go. It's hard to do when I'm not looking at it. You would think it would just be a simple, you know, hey, pull the tab. But anyway, you can see the little bunnies going up and down in the hole. This is up above the ground. This is below the ground. These are 2 of our bunny sets. And I think these are called up the rabbit hole and down the rabbit hole. But as you see, one is going up, one is going down the ladder. That's what the seesaw does. So it's that movement like a seesaw. And so we're going to work with, oh, I'll show you this. I printed this out because I want to make sure I give Linnea credit for this. Linnea is on our design team. She is absolutely fantastic. And she made this card. This is her design. This one is not mine. And I loved it so much that I asked her if I could recreate the exact same card. And she said yes. So that's what we're going to make. Let me see who's here. I'm going to give everybody a quick shout out if I can. Looks like Sandy's here. Hi, Sandy. And Shelly and Sandra Ferguson. Beverly. Hi, Beverly. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Shelly. Hi, everybody. Wow, there's a lot of people here tonight. Thank you so much. Marilyn. And is this Ezzy? A lot of people tonight. Thank you so much. Oh, Patricia Dunbar. Hi. Nice to see you here. Let me take a look over at Facebook and see what's going on. Let's see, who's there? Oh, Kathy Marvel. Hi, Kathy, and Susan, and Serenity, and Margaret Chapman. Hi, everybody. Okay, like I said, ask me questions. My husband is here. He's my assistant, so he's going to give a shout out if there's any questions. So let me show you what we're going to be working with. I've already shown you the Seesaw Slider die. We're also going to be working with the Up and Away stamp set. This has these adorable elephants. I don't know about you guys, but I love elephants, and these remind me of heffalumps, if y'all know what a heffalump is. Famous little cartoon critters, little heffalumps. So we've got them with balloons, and the balloons are separate, so you can kind of attach a balloon or just float the balloons up in the sky however you want. Some of them are walking on the ground. He's got little butterflies here, and we have sentiments here. Some of these are darker because I don't clean my stamps very well, and I've already worked with these because while I was preparing for today. And then we also have the coordinating dies. This is a 10 die set. And as you can see, they're all hollowed out, so it makes it super, super easy for you to place these around your dies and get a really, really good cut on them. And then we show you on the back which dies go with each image. So that makes it really easy for you as well. And then these are 2 other dies that Linnea designed with. This is Here Comes the Sun, which is the die set that you saw on Tuesday. So I'm going to work with that again. And then this one's called Over the Hills Border, and it is, look at the back of this. Look at how these go. Isn't that so cute how you can layer these and you can add dimension? This die actually, this is my favorite hill die that I've ever seen with any company, and it's not just because it's my company. It's because this cuts into actually 2 pieces. So it's one die, cuts 2 pieces so that you can really, really easily add dimension to your card by layering those, and I'm going to show you how to do that as well. So let me see. Oh, and then we're also going to work with the Homemade Happiness paper pack. So I pulled a paper out of there, and then the ever so popular Rainy Day stencil. We're going to work with that. So let me see. I want to show you kind of how this is going to work. So I created this. This is like my little dummy sample, just to kind of show you how the mechanism works. This would be the front of your card. I guess in this case it would go this way with the pull tab up in the top. But you can also have the pull tab in the bottom, and I'm just going to put it in the bottom for demonstration purposes right now. Now this one I have to hold this a certain way because because it's not on a card base. It doesn't have the structure that it really needs. But I'm going to lay it down and I'm going to show you. Oh, do I have? There we go. Got a little bit stuck there. So this is how it pulls. Okay. So it's really easy to do. Whoops. If it doesn't slide out of your hand. Oh boy, did I just have a little snort there? A little bit. I think I did. Okay, so that's how the mechanism is going to work. I want to show you the parts here. So this piece here is this die piece here. So that is the main mechanism. And then we have these little, what I call footballs. They're ovals and circles. And that's going to be, that's going to go into these little position right in here, so it kind of holds the mechanism together so that you can slide it. We have our pull tab. This creates the track, and then this is the little sleeve that you see here. Okay? So, Alan, do we have any questions yet?
I have not seen any. That doesn't mean there aren't any.
Okay. Now I want Alan to just kind of give me a little shout out, not too loud, if we have some questions.
That looks complicated.
No, it's not. Oh, is that Katie Young? It's actually not complicated. That's the really cool thing about it. It's not complicated. I'm going to show you how easy it is to do. So I've got all my pieces here, and I'm going to give you some little tips and tricks with this too, so that you have, a good understanding of my experience with it. Little things that, here's the thing, whenever you're crafting, especially when you have moving pieces, you can run into little snags every now and then. Where's my glasses? Here we go. And so I've come up with ways to make things a little bit easier, and I'm going to share those with you. So here we go. Let me sort this out. One of the things that I will tell you as you watch me sort this out is I cut 2 of all of those pieces. Now when you line up all those pieces, I will cut them on a half sheet of paper. So I'll put them on, I think it's, what is that, an 8.5 by 5.5 inch piece of cardstock. I use a heavy cardstock, okay, because when you give this card to somebody, to your loved one, to your friend or whoever, whoops, they're going to be playing with that mechanism. They're going to be moving that a lot. And, you know, no matter what, this is paper that we're working with, right? So no matter what, you're going to end up with, you know, that paper breaking down over time the more you use it. And so I will automatically double up on some of these things. So I will cut 2 of the this mechanism here. I will cut 2 of the pull tab. I cut 2 of the sleeves, but not because I layer them up. I'll explain why as I'm doing it. So each time I cut this, it actually fits. Oh, and then I double up on all these, my little footballs and my circles as well. And it takes literally a half a sheet to cut everything once, and then I kind of flip it around and cut it again. So it doesn't take a lot of paper. All right, so here's all my pieces. Okay, so I've got my little characters over here that I've chosen, or that Linnea chose to work with, and I've already stamped them and I colored them with Copics. I'm going to set those aside. And we have our the sun die cuts. I'm going to set those aside. And this is where the paper comes into play that I showed you, that paper pack. This is the Homemade Happiness paper pack. These are double-sided, so if I turn this one over, you're going to see stripes. Okay. All of our papers, by the way, are 80-pound cardstock, so it's a really good heavy cardstock. Now, when Linnea did hers, I think she worked with a white, just with like white, and then she used the ink to kind of blend in the color. Well, in order to create this without having to do that, I always try and reduce the number of steps that I have to do when I'm crafting in order to save time. Well, I cut it from a light green, and then I thought, what if I want pattern in there? So I changed it up, and I pulled this little polka dot pattern right here from this paper pack. And so that's what I'm gonna try that out and see how it works. I have not assembled this card. I've only kind of, you know, planned it out a little bit. And actually Linnea planned it out, but I made that little change just to see how that's gonna work. So I'm gonna set my footballs aside. Oh, and one more thing, you're going to need a tiny little brad. All right, you can choose any color you want. It is going to be, it could show from the front, or you can also cover it up. If it shows from the front, then if you use a white, you can color that really, really easy with an alcohol marker to match whatever your background is, or you can choose to cover it up like we're going to do, and you'll see how easy that is too. So I'm going to move these footballs, I'm going to move these little circles over, and I'm going to get started with these. Okay, I'm going to use a little pin to pop that out because it wasn't out of there. Now, where's my dies? Here they are. If you look at this die, I'm going to lay it in this direction. Okay, this is going to cut these long ovals, and it's also going to cut a hole out of the center. That hole is going to correspond with the hole on this die. All right, now let's open this up. Just want to explain the pieces a little bit so you understand them. In order to create this piece, I use this die, all right, this H die, or an I, however you want to look at it, and you're going to lay this down. The dies have the blade on one side. They're very sharp, so be careful. Now this has that hole in the center that I mentioned to you. So you're going to lay this down, you're going to tape that into place. Notice I've centered it from left to right, but I've got it a little bit lower than center. And you want to make sure that you do that. The reason for that is when I place this mechanism here, because that's where it's going to go, is right over that, right? Here's the one that's cut. It's going to go right over that same hole because those holes are going to go together. See how much space I have? All right, because this is kind of, we're going to say, for argument's sake, a triangular shape, because it goes like this, right? You want to make sure that you have enough space to accommodate that. So that's why we go a little bit off center vertically. So I would run this through my machine, through my die cutting machine, and through the magic of live YouTube, this is the piece that you're going to get. So it's going to cut these two tracks, and it's going to cut that little circle out of the center. All right? These two pieces here, and these two pieces here. So this is your seesaw, and this is your pull tab. I'm going to go ahead, I cut two of each of those, and I'm going to adhere them together. Even though I used a heavier cardstock, I want to make sure that these are good and strong and thick, and I'm going to double them up. Now this is not a required step, but it is one that I would highly recommend. Okay. The adhesive I'm using is it's just Aleene's tacky glue. You can use white or clear. I have them both. I use them both. I'm just going to hold this down for a moment. All right. Alan, do we have any questions so far?
I don't see one yet.
Alrighty. I'm going to do the same with the seesaw piece. And I learned from last time, I have stored this this bottle of glue upside down so that I don't run into the same situation that I did last time where I couldn't get the glue out. So I'm going to put two of these together, line these up really good, and just hold this down for a moment. Alright, you know what I'm going to do? Actually, I'm going to put this paper pack down over both of those and hold those down for a moment. Now, I'm going to move on to this piece here while those are drying. This is the sleeve, and I do two sleeves. Let me show you on that sample again. I do two sleeves. Now, you don't have to do two sleeves, but I find that if I only have one sleeve, then when I'm pulling on this tab, it's a little more wiggly if I only have one. And I don't want that angle when I pull on it. I want to be forced to pull it straighter. So I do two sleeves when I do it so that it kind of creates a longer track for me to slide that through. So I don't think you can see this on here on the screen because it's so bright white. But when you cut with this sleeve, and it's this die here, right in here on this die, on both of these, it will actually cut two score lines so that you can really easily fold just like this. Okay? And you're going to do that twice. Oops. I actually put my fingernail on that score, and then I fold it. And then you're going to create this little sleeve, and you're going to use the adhesive on that as well. A little bit of adhesive here. This is just kind of a little bit of prep work that you do. Now, if you want to use a double-sided tape, you could do that too. Whatever kind of adhesive you want to work with, it's completely up to you. Let's squeeze that together. Now, I just squeezed it together. If you do that, make sure you're only squeezing it in the center because you don't want to collapse that. And the sample that I had done, that bright pink one that actually looks red on camera, I actually collapsed it because I squeezed too hard on the ends, so that was my mistake. And if you're wondering, well, what happens if, you know, the person who I give this card to, what if they squeeze too hard? Well, we're going to have foam in there, so they're not going to be able to do that. Oops, I think I just missed it. Yep, I did it on an angle. Oopsie. There we go. There's the other one. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to put the adhesive in here.
Sandy's asking, can you use the die on bigger cards? Size of the card matter?
The size of the card does not matter. Oh, and you know what? Yes, you can use it. What I would recommend, so all right, so Sandy's asking, can you use the die on bigger cards? Yes, you can. I wouldn't go too big, but what you may have to do is create an extension for that pull tab. And you can do that just by adhering a couple of pull tabs together. So you can do that. I mean, my guess is you probably don't want to go beyond maybe a 5x7 card. You could do a square card. I wouldn't go smaller than this either, because you do have to make sure that you have room for that seesaw to rotate. You know, so if you watch it on here, if you watch it here, when I move this, I mean, you can see I only have a little bit of space on either side there. Okay, so you want to make sure that you don't go too small. But you know, you can certainly try different sizes. The most popular size in card making here in the United States is the A2, and that's what we're working with. Okay, so let me see if I got any excess adhesive. These I think are done. So this is really good and thick now, and so is this one. All right, and I have my sleeves, so I've done my prep work. Now, my husband's gonna love this one, because this was a little tip of his. If you guys, if you emboss, you probably have something like this little, you know, static bag. And one of the things my husband suggests, because you can't, you know, you got to remember it's paper rubbing on paper. So he suggested that I use this little powder static thing here to get just a little bit of powder into those little tracks, just in case, you know, just to make sure that we have a little more freedom in there. And so that's what I've done. So let's see. We're going to start off with these little footballs. Now these little footballs, let me see if I can get a good shot of this. Can you see the score line on that football when I move that? Okay. Every single one of these footballs is automatically going to have a score line. So you're going to take and fold 4 of them on that score line.
So Randy's asking about using pocket pals.
Can you, oh, Serenity, you want to know if you can use the pocket pails with these?
Yes.
Well, let me show you this.
Oh.
Remember this card? This is up the rabbit hole and down the rabbit hole. These are pocket pail stamp sets. So you can use the up and away are not pocket pails. That's what we're working with, but these are pocket pails. The only difference is that the pocket pails are smaller, so you're going to be able to get many more characters on the front of your card. So absolutely, you can use the pocket pails for this. So I forgot to tell you when I was prepping, this is going to be the last thing we're going to prep. We're going to take 4 of these footballs and fold them on that score line. So I have 4 of those done, and we're going to set those aside. Okay? Now, next, let me put this little die away.
Cindy Patty joined.
Hi, Cindy! Good to see you here. We're making a seesaw slider. Okay, so if you remember what I showed you here in Linnea's design, she did these beautiful clouds in the background. So before I do anything else on this card base, I've already cut it, but before I do anything else, I'm going to do these clouds. So, Oh, you know what I don't have, Alan?
Inks.
No, I have my inks. I don't have a scrap piece of paper.
Okay.
Can you grab me one over there? Yeah, right behind that. Yeah, get one of the half sheets. No, the half sheet. My assistant Alan is helping me. There we go. We're gonna go with this one. So I always like to have a little scrap piece of paper. So I'm going to grab my rainy day stencil. I use this stencil more than any other stencil. Absolutely love this. And let me get, you know what, let me push these off because I don't want to get anything on them. There we go. Gotta make room. I'm working in a smaller area right now. Not right now, but when I do these, so I don't have a whole lot of room. I have to be kind of careful. Okay, so the first color I'm going to work with is going to be, we're going to do a rainbow of these clouds. So this one is called Tickled Pink. It's such a beautiful pink. Let me grab this. Here we go. So I have my my little applicator. I always brush off a little bit. And I'm going to come in with some pink, really easy here. That might be a little bit darker than I want. I think I went too heavy with it. I'm going to brush off a little bit with the next one, so I don't get so much. I think I filled it. I think I filled my my brush too much. So that is our pink, and I'm going to clean this. I don't want to combine my colors together, so I'm just. Ooh!
Sorry.
Oh my gosh! See what I told you? We're going to have things happen. So the next one is going to be orange, and I'm going to go with Tangerine Dream. Let me get the right, here we go, Tangerine Dream. Make sure I have the right brush. I'm going to fill up that brush, and I'm going to come in with my clouds. And I'm not going to go all the way up into the pink clouds. I'm going to leave a little bit of white so that they look really kind of billowy and fluffy. Let's see how that turned out. Oh, so pretty. Yay! Whoops. I almost dropped things. Okay, so what color is next? I think it's yellow. So we're gonna, oops, let me clean this. So next is going to be, I'm going to stagger this just a little bit. And I'm going to work with Banana Cream Pie. Makes me hungry every time I think about that.
Sounds good.
Doesn't it sound good?
Yeah.
Who votes for banana cream pie right now?
Somebody would make me one of those.
You know, I wish somebody, my husband says, I wish somebody would make me one of those. My sentiments exactly. I've got nothing to complain about. My husband is actually making me breakfast every morning. And it's a hot breakfast too. Yes, he makes me eggs and toast and like a Canadian bacon. And it's yummy. I will never complain about it, not once. So the next color is going to be Prickly Pear Perfection. I used a couple, actually, yeah, I used a couple of these colors on Tuesday, so you can see that which ones are my favorites right now. So we're going to go with green. Prickly Pear Perfection. So pretty. Darken that green just a little bit. There we go. Alan, do we have any questions?
I haven't seen any.
Did you check both YouTube and Facebook?
I am trying, but very stressful.
Men don't multitask as well as women, I don't think. Look how pretty that's coming out. I love it. I hope Linnea is proud of me. Is Linnea on? Have we seen her?
She was on here, yes.
Oh, who else is here? Let me see. So we have Katie Young, Denise Bryant, Carol. Hi, Carol. Hello, everybody. Yay. Marquetta Meyer. Hi, good to see you here. Let me see. Very nice. Awesome. Thank you guys for joining me. I always wonder, I wouldn't say I worry about it, but when you're throwing a party and you really hope people show up. So, okay. So this one, I didn't give you the color, did I? This is Marina Madness, and this is my favorite color. Yep, my husband knows, for clouds. I love this color for clouds. So pretty. It's a very happy blue. How pretty that is. Oops, I think I mixed it in with the green a little bit. But that's okay. So what color is next? Sorry, I'm reaching across. So after that, we have a beautiful, I kind of wrote my colors down so I knew what order I was doing. So we're going to have this beautiful lavender. This is called La La Lavender. And it's so pretty. You're probably wondering, does she think any of the colors aren't pretty? No, I think they're all beautiful. I love them all. So, all right, here we go. Let's get this lavender in here. Oh, that's a beautiful color. How pretty. Oh my gosh. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So after that, we're going to kind of come around the bend here, and we're going to do one more. I'm going to come back to, clean that off, to the pink. And the pink is Tickle Pink. Yes, my husband's saying, aren't you going to cover all that up? Yes, I am probably going to cover some of this up, if not all of it. But if there is any part of it that shows once we put that base on there, the grass, then I want to make sure it doesn't show white. So I'm just going to, even if I don't need this last row, I'm going to have it so that I don't end up showing white. There we go. How pretty. Alrighty. Then you know what I can do? Is this my green? Yes, that's Prickly Pear Perfection. Let me grab that color. This is what I would do just to finish it off. I would take some of that Prickly Pear, because we are going to have the grass at the bottom. Is this the bottom?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
it is.
doesn't matter.
Well, it is going to be the bottom for me because of which way I have my my clouds. So I just added a little bit of that Prickly Pear at the bottom, the green. So, which brings me to a good point. When I started working on it, I didn't really pay attention to which direction I wanted my pull tab to be. Not direction, but where I wanted the pull tab to be, if I wanted it on the top or the bottom. Linnea's was on the top, and right now I'm not sure if mine's going to be on the top or the bottom, so I guess we'll find that out together. So look how pretty that is. Oh my goodness. I'm not as thrilled with that real, how strong I went on the pink up at the top, but I think it'll be fine. You know what I might do? Yeah, I wish I would. Well, it'll work. Okay.
Blended or lighten?
Well, what I was thinking of doing actually is maybe just coming in like this with a little more pink, just to give a billowy feeling in there. I don't know if this is going to make a difference, but we'll see. This is what happens when you're crafting live. You know what? It does. It gives just a little more of an of a texture in there, and I think I'm happier with that. I'm glad I did that. Okay. So let me clean this again. So we're done now with the rainy day stencil. So I'm going to set that aside. And let me get my brushes out of the way. Okay. So next up, remember these little pieces here? These were the footballs that I folded. And then we have these circles. Now, the footballs are done with this oval die and with this oval die. And they're the same. We just gave you 2 of them so that you would get a lot of them in there. So let's do this. I'm going to take 2 of these ovals. Now notice it's folded. I'm going to slide one flap in to the one direction and then take the second and go in the opposite direction. Okay, so I have 2 of them in here. See how there's 2? I'm going to butt them up against each other. And then on the front, I'm going to take one of these circles. I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back of that circle. And this is going to be the most difficult part of this whole thing. Okay? This is how easy it is. I'm going to hold those down, and I'm going to put that circle over the top with them flat. All right? Question is, can you use an oval instead to put it on the top? Absolutely. But my little tip, when I'm working on the front of the card, I like to use the circle. And the reason we put circles in addition to ovals is if I want to work with a really small image on the front here. All right. And this will make sense once I start adding the images on there. But if I want to work with a really, really small image, a narrow image on the front here, then I can come in and manually trim off part of that oval, part of those ovals that are around that circle. And everything will still function really well. So when I slide this now, it's going to go up and down. All right? You want to make sure you don't put so much glue that it doesn't slide. I'm going to do the exact same thing on this side. Oops, that one came out.
So question, what do you use to clean your stencil?
Just water. This is, it's kind of filthy, but this is actually from Lawn Fawn. I can't remember what it's called, but it's their cloth that they have, and you can wet it just with water and clean off your stencil. You can clean off your stamps, your stencil, whatever it is you want to clean, and then it dries out, and then all you have to do is wet it again, and you can just keep using it over and over and over again. So that one is from, I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's some kind of chamois or something like that.
Oh, and what tool do you use to blend with?
Oh, what did I blend with? Well, I'm embarrassed and ashamed to say that I actually, the blending tools that I have here, because I'm working out of my home studio right now, and I do not have some of my craft tools that I work with regularly, so mine are actually just little makeup brushes. But like Picket Fence Studios, they have some that are really, really, they're nicer than these. These are literally just makeup brushes. But Picket Fence Studios has a really, really nice set, and that's one of the ones that I use when I'm actually crafting and I'm in the office. So look how they slide. Isn't that easy and nice?
Where did you get the stencil?
The stencil is our rainy day stencil. This is our rainy day stencil. This is ours. It's LDRS Creative. So if you go to our website, which is LDRS, here, let me see if I can find it in here, LDRScreative.com. We've got a lot of stencils where you can do you can create scenes with it. So this one that I'm working with has that beautiful billowy cloud up at the top on that edge that I showed you. We have the full clouds here, raindrops, and then there's grass on the other edge. If you join in weekly, I will probably be using all of our different stencils because they're so much fun to use. Okay, so on the back of this now, I'm going to take a football. I'm not going to fold these footballs now. I'm going to put some adhesive, and I'm just going to lay a football over each of these in the back. All right, so I've turned my card over, and now I'm laying footballs down over the top. And again, do not overload this adhesive because you do not want to get adhesive in those tracks. Okay, so I'm going to hold these down until they dry a little bit. This Aleene's glue that I use is really nice because it dries fairly quickly. It's a tacky glue that dries really nicely. All right. So these are not totally dry yet, but they're dry enough that I can take my hand off them. And see how easily these slide now? Okay. I do this all throughout while I'm working with the card because I want to make sure everything is sliding and moving nicely in the track. Okay. So the next step is going to be this piece here. I'm going to turn this over. Here we go. And now I have this brad. I'm going to pop the brad from the front right through to the back, and I want to put it through this hole right now. Okay. I got lucky there. That went on there fast. I got adhesive on the front. Oops. There we go. Okay. Now, so you can see that I have the brad through the center. Now this is another one of my little tips. I'm going to use this, the pull tab here. I'm going to lay it next to the brad, and I'm going to fold it down over that pull tab, and then I'm going to put it on the other side and fold down the other side. Why did I put that there? I put that there because without that, I might push these down so hard that they're too tight. And if that brad closes too tight up against the paper, it's going to make this more snug as it's moving. And I don't want that. Okay? So, let me flip this around. Now, I'm going to slide this up and one down, because the idea is we have a seesaw, right? Now you need to have some little foam pads like this. It's adhesive on both sides. You could use circles, you could use squares. All right. When I place these down, I don't put it real close into that oval curve there. I put it a little bit further away from it so that there's a little bit of room for it to kind of play and move. So you adhere this down like so. All right, and that's going to work like this now. Okay, see how easy that slides? Pull off that little topper there, and you're going to adhere a football. I'm not going to put the football this direction because that will go with the oval that's there. I'm going to go in the opposite direction because I want to make sure, oops, let me get this one off of here. I want to make sure that it doesn't slide up through as it's moving. Okay, see how easy that is? You with me? Now my next step is going to be the pull tab. And actually it goes this way. You can't see it, but there's a mark on here from when I die cut it. So this is going to go right through here, and that little mark is roughly where you're going to place your next little foam circle or square. And so these are going to go just like this. Okay? So I'm going to get this out of the way, and I'm going to adhere these. These are the sleeves. Again, I don't want too much adhesive. I'm going to line that up right with that long oval. Hold that down for a moment. And then I'm going to line this one up. I will tell you this, the first time you make one of these, it's going to take you a little bit longer just because it's the first time. But after you make one, you'll realize how easy they really are. All right, so let me get that adhesive out of the way. Now I can put my, whoops, it's not dry yet. So while that's drying, I'm going to move on. Now I'm going to slide this through each of those sleeves and then underneath the seesaw mechanism, okay? And then I'm going to adhere one more of these little foam squares, just like that. Guess what goes on top of that? A football! And I'm going to go across that long oval, okay? So now it's moving. So that really is the entire mechanism. All right. See how that moves? And I'm going to hold this, watch, I'm just going to hold this with one finger, and I'm just going to slide that. See how easy that is? Super easy. And then I have footballs and circles left over. Now, if you're going to hold this upright and try and pull it, it may or may not work really, really easily because it's not going to have a really good foundation to it. All right. So the next thing that I need is a card base. And so I've got my, this is 8.5 by 5.5. I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. All right. And then our trusty foam. If you have any questions? Oh, we've got some new people. We got Sandra Horn, Lydia. Hi. Alyssa. Nice to see you ladies here. Ginny. Oh, and who else is in here? Oh, Sandra, I see you in there too. Thank you ladies for joining me. I hope you're enjoying this. Okay, this is my big honkin' foam roll. We're going to apply foam to the back of this. Now, if you look, we've got, you can see that there is some dimension here, right? So my foam is pretty thin. So I'm going to kind of double and possibly even triple up on it a little bit. Because we don't want to just adhere this as it is. It would be too, it would end up pressing this whole mechanism. Now, when I move this like this, you can see where we can put foam and where we can't. So you want to stay clear of this area here, right? We don't want to get too close over here. We can put a little bit here and we have space at the bottom. So I'm going to cut my foam. I have plenty of space at the bottom. And I'm going to start stacking my foam. Okay. Let's see where I have room. And I don't want to get really close to that. So the next thing I'm going to do, now this piece, I'm going to cut this in half lengthwise because I don't want to get close to that mechanism. Okay. Now I'm going to slide this over. Ooh, we're getting close there, but I still have room. I have about 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to put a little piece here slide it in that direction to make sure how much space I have. And I want to put this in, you know, around all the sides as much as I can, because, let me make sure, yeah, because I want to support it. I want to offer support all around, all right? You know what, I'm going to do that a little bit thinner in that area. And I know this part may seem a little tedious, but this is an incredibly important part because we have to offer not only support for the card and the mechanism, but we have to make sure we allow, ooh, that's not going to be good. See how close that was there? I'm not going to do that quite like that. I'm going to slide this piece over here, and I think I'm going to move this over in this direction instead. I can already feel that I don't have enough height. So my foam is really thin. If you have a thicker foam, you're not going to have to do 3 layers like I am. Mine is pretty thin. So I'm going to do the side over here, cut this in half. I usually will double up on my foam just because I want the height. So by adding a 3rd layer with this one, I'm really not adding much more than I would normally do. Okay, so I'm going to go back around and do a 3rd layer. See if I cut that long enough, or too long maybe. Yeah, a little too long. Let's trim that off of there. Whenever I have extra pieces, I just stick them on the outside of my, I stick them like this on the outside of my foam roll. So I don't want to waste it. So here we go. This is going to be a longer piece. Let's see if that's good. I think that works. There we go. And then I'm actually going to put a little piece on this mechanism because I want to offer the support in the center. Now, when I go around and remove all of the green that's covering all of these, I am not going to remove that in the center. If I remove that center piece, I'm going to adhere my Seesaw to my card base and it will not move. Okay, so we don't want that. Leave that one alone. That's there just to offer a little bit of space. But see how it's still moving really nicely? All right. So I'm going to go around and remove all of the backing. All right. And if I can do this without getting my hair in the card, or in the camera, that would be really great. I'm going to lay this right over the top of my card base. Let's see if I got that. Oh, I'm going to get my hair in there. Sorry about that. Okay. So I'm just going to give it a little press around the sides. Don't press in the center. And it's still moving really nicely. So next, now this is where I got to figure out what I want to do. Do I want this green, or do I want this green? I think I want this one because I think that's super playful. All right, so I'm going to trim the bottom of this so it's not quite so tall. All right. Oops, I can't get the little piece there. Now notice, remember when I said that that die cuts in 2 pieces? Okay, that's the Over the Hills, or is it? Here it is.
Everybody was voting for the polka dots.
Oh, good. I'm glad I chose the one you wanted. So this is the Over the Hills die. Remember when I said it cuts in 2 pieces? So it automatically will cut it like this. So you're going to get this piece that you can put in the front and this one that can go behind it. So if I stack that front piece up on a little bit of foam and then I place this back behind it and I can put this one flat, it's going to offer automatic dimension on the front of my card. So here we go. This is going to go here. I'm going to do some foam for this. Let me get my foam out. A little square on each side. And then I'll just do a little bit at the bottom here, and hopefully none of that's going to get in the way. Let me make sure. Yep, none of it gets in the way, so that is excellent. Get all the little bits of backer off of here. Line this up at the bottom, just like so. And then this piece here, I'm going to adhere flat, right down like that. So where is my big ol' honkin' glue gun? Tape gun, yes. And notice this has automatic stitching, and this, you can see how it kind of overlaps so that like the hills are kind of going like this. It's so pretty. And this piece in the center has that stitching as well. So I'm going to tuck that in there. Look how pretty that is. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. The next step is going to be this little sun. I want a tiny little piece of foam. Just to go on the back. Actually, do I want foam on this? You know what? No, I'm not going to put foam on this. I'm going to adhere this flat because I'm going to tuck it behind that hill. And I'm going to stagger the little rays of sunshine. So we have some beautiful texture. And then, where's my adhesive? Where'd I put it? Oh, here we go. See, that's what happens when you don't put something back where it goes. Get a little bit of adhesive on the back of that. And I'm going to store this upside down right next to me so that I know where it is this time. You know what? I don't like how I've turned this. Let me see, what did I do? Oh, for goodness sakes, what did I do? There we go. I didn't have it turned right. And I'm going to cover up this little piece here. Oh, for gosh sakes. I already glued it down. Or taped it down. But I want to tuck that sunshine behind there. Look how cute. And no, this is not my idea. This is what Linnea did. Remember I told you this is her card? Her card design? Don't push on that. You don't want to push really hard in the center. I just want to make sure that that adhesive touches down. So, the next thing we need to do is put our little characters in here. Let me get this out of the way. Okay. So, I've got these adorable little guys. And I'm going to use, here, let me do this. On the front of this balloon, just on this, the string of the balloon, put a little bit of adhesive, and I'm going to adhere that to that elephant. Let that sit aside. and dry. Hold that for a moment. Too much glue on my hands. Okay. And then we're going to take these guys, and I'm going to do the same thing and put this one right behind where their, what are those things called?
Trunks.
Thank you, they're trunks. I'm at a loss for words. Where their trunks come together. And let that dry there. Okay? Alright, so the last thing we need is to take care of where they're going to go. So I'm going to put a little foam piece on the front of each of these circles. You could use circles or squares. Little foam circles or squares, whatever you want. And then this guy is going to go right here. Oh, you know what? I just realized I completely forgot to even stamp a sentiment on here, but that's okay. So he's going to go on here. So let's remove. What?
Move it all the way up first or anything?
Well, I'm going to move it
No?
down here so I can see where it's going to fit. And I'm just going to lay him on here. And I'm laying him on here in a way that it covers up that whole football back there. Okay? Look how cute. And then this one is going to go right there in the center. Let's get the little cover off of there. And hide, oops, it's stuck there. And hide that little football back there. Oop, I just kind of pushed his tail, bent his tail back. There we go. Oops, he's catching over here. Yeah, I might need to put a little bit of tape. Let's see. I'm going to pop this sun out of here. And I'm going to put some adhesive tape on that instead of that glue, because I want to make sure that that sun is out of the way. So I put tape on the top side underneath that sun to hold that down so it's not in the way of these guys. And look how cute that is. So sweet. Now, what I forgot to do, and what I can't do at this point, the way I was going to, or the way Linnea did it, let me angle that up a little bit. What I couldn't do, here's Linnea's, okay? Now she has a sentiment right here that she stamped directly on the clouds, which I should have done before I started assembling the mechanism in the back. So what I will actually do, and what I'm not prepared to do right now, and we're actually almost out of time, but what I'm not prepared to do is, and what I will do is, I will probably stamp on a little piece of white using one of our die shapes, and I'll adhere it flat to there, and I'll put a sentiment in the center. So when I do the final pictures of the card, then I will have that. But for right now, the goal was to show you how to make this, and isn't that adorable? I think it's super sweet. I love it. Alrighty. Let's see. Hi. I hope you liked it. I love these cards. I think they're so much fun. I think interactive cards are an absolute blast. Always put a smile on my face when I'm working with them, and they always put a smile on the face of the person that I give them to. So, and this one I think is just spectacular. So Linnea, thank you so much for your design. Absolutely love it. I think it's just gorgeous. Anybody have any questions? Come on, questions, anybody? Get your comments in because we're almost out of time. Actually, we are out of time. But I'm going to make sure that we draw a winner. The winner is going to get, let me show you what the winner's going to get. Put this card off to the side. The winner's going to get the Seesaw Slider, the Up and Away, and stamps and the Up and Away dies. So you're going to be able to create this card with these three items, and these are some of our most popular. So I think it's a pretty cool thing. So I hope you're getting your comments in there. And I'm going to have my husband choose a name, and I don't know where he's going to choose it from. I don't know if it's going to be on YouTube or if it's going to be on the Facebook group, but he's going to give me a name, and then I'm going to call it out.
That is not fair.
He said that's not fair.
Okay.
Okay, you ready? I hope you're paying attention. Get your comments in. Drum roll, please.
Katie Young.
Katie Young? Katie Young? Katie Young? Katie, I want you to do me a favor, and I want you to, is that from YouTube or is that from Facebook?
YouTube.
Okay, that's from YouTube. I want you to do me a favor and send me a private message. I'm going to need your full shipping address so that we can get your prize out to you right away. We are still shipping product. We're still taking orders and everything. So so this is going to go out probably in tomorrow's mail, as long as I have your address. I love being able to give stuff away. I think it's so much fun, and I think that right now, people have time on their hands, and they want to craft. And if I can put a little bit of love and a little bit of crafty goodies into the mail for you, then I think that's just fantastic. So hopefully you enjoyed this. And
did you have the images or anything?
What are you doing?
Did you have those images to put on the screen you always forget about?
I know, I forgot. Sorry, he's asking me about something that I did forget about, but it's okay. I don't remember what I was saying. You completely interrupted me. This is what it's like when you work with your husband. It's his agenda. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, what I've got going on. It's, it's all about him. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to be back here again on Tuesday, and I don't know what I'm going to work with. So I will try and get that announced so that everybody knows what to plan on. And I will see you, I'll see you next week, Tuesday. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. Try and have some downtime. Try and get some crafting in, and just relax. Have a little fun. Find something that brings some joy to you. I will see you. Thank you so much for being here. Bye, everybody.